Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Monday morning, another day of the week. A new week has started. It is July 17th and I'm once again at the Polderbaan. Arrivals taking place right now. As I was setting up, runway 27 was also being used. I'm not sure how long that's going to stay that way. The wind is basically the same as yesterday, but a bit less strong. Wind is blowing from the southwest. And the first airplane of the day is United Airlines Flight 909, a 7878 Dreamliner arriving from Chicago O'Hare. I thought maybe I could do without image stabilizer, but after this landing I think I am going to turn that on again. Well, we should be expecting the first clean within 15 minutes. I believe I saw one on flight radar moving this way. Good morning, Koenie, Jackie, I love planes, Veldi, goedemorgen, Wendy, goedemorgen, Leen, goedemorgen, Dexus, goedemorgen, good morning to all. Hope everybody is doing well. Let me quickly go into my camera menu, enable image stabilizer. It's not optimal, but it is better than doing without. So let me restart the ticker and take you through the current weather. As you guys can see, it is cloudy. And AHAM is the name of this airport, Schiphol, AMS or AHAM. It is today the 17th, 6:55 Zulu time means 8:55 Central European time, and it is now 9:27. You can see that in the left bottom corner of the ticker. So the wind is blowing with 12 knots from 250 degrees, so from the southwest, and the wind direction is variable between 220 degrees and 280 degrees, so more or less between south and west. Visibility is 10 kilometers or more. Few clouds at 2,200 feet, including towering cumulus clouds. The temperature is 17 degrees, the dew point is 13 degrees, the air pressure is 1016 hectopascal, and no significant changes in the weather are expected in the upcoming 2 hours. Good morning, Danny. Good morning. Alan Vijs adds videos. Steve, good morning. And all other viewers who have joined in the meantime as well, good morning. And Embraer 175 arriving from Hamburg. So once again, there is crosswind. This time around the wind speed is lower than yesterday, but the crosswind component is bigger. Or at least initially yesterday the wind blew more from the southerly direction and now more southwest. Hey there, Jay Wendell and Paul and Gosse, goedemorgen. Good morning to you all. Good to see all of you tune in again. Vueling A320neo arriving from Barcelona, and behind it should be an Airbus A220. So in the foreground we have Vueling flight 8300 arriving from Barcelona, A320neo, flight time 1 hour and 53 minutes. And this airplane is 3 years old. First flight was in October 2019. picture. This is looking to the south. This is looking to the west. This is looking to the east. And back to the north. We can see another airplane approaching the glide slope from the top. Now, top left of the A220, we can also see that this A220 is in the Estonian flag special livery, so blue and black. Is that the next airplane then? I think it is. That should be an A319 from Air Serbia arriving from Belgrade. That just came from the right and onto the glide slope. Now, in the meantime, a few droplets are falling right here. I'm expecting them to be just a few isolated droplets since there's no significant cloud above me. Number 2 is the first queen of the day, and there she is. In the foreground, an A319 Air Serbia flight 360 arriving from Belgrade, flight time 2 hours 7 minutes. The airplane 18 years old, first flight October 2004. Behind it is KLM Cargo flight 8562, Boeing 747-400 arriving from Nairobi. Current flight time 8 hours 8 minutes. And that is a 20-year-old 747. First flight of that 747 was in March 2003. Good morning, Samantha, Yillard, Geo, YT, 68 Twing. Good morning to you all. And Samantha, your departure will probably take place from the Gama runway 24. So the only thing I can show the people is a plane really far away. This is not the most ideal location to be filming departures from today. After the 747 we will see a KLM Dreamliner 10 arriving from Delhi. Hey Jeroen, Sander, goedemorgen heren. Yorkshire, good morning my friend. Early birds, and you guys are going to catch the worm, because here is the worm. It is the first queen of the day. KLM 747 arriving from Nairobi. So despite the wind not being as hard as yesterday, because it is more from the right than yesterday, there is still a crosswind, and you can see that the airplanes are pointing towards us as they approach the runway, crabbing. Well, how about that for a buttery smooth landing? They really milk that cushioning effect that such a big plane has when approaching the ground. Acts as a counter force. Indeed, a 747 shaped worm. Little butt shot as well. Magnificent. And Yillard is already informing us that in 13 minutes we're going to rinse and repeat with a Suparna 747. Right, next airplane in the 100 years livery, KLM Flight 872, Boeing 787-10 Dreamliner arriving from Delhi in India. Current flight time 8 hours 55 minutes. 4-year-old airplane, its first flight June 2019. Ah, 13 minutes, Suparna 747 expected, 38 minutes, a Kalitta Air 747. It's been a while since I've seen them in the wild. Thank you for updating us about these incoming flights there, Gillard. Sumo Burger, good morning. Checking in from Albury, Australia. Good evening, mate. Right, 2 airplanes visible. And a tractor passing by. Hey there, Dale, good morning. Incoming first, Emirates Sky Cargo, flight 9916, arriving from Aguadilla. Flight time 7 hours 56 minutes, 777 freighter, 7 years old, first flight August 2015. Behind it is a 737-800 from Sun Express, arriving from Konya. And good morning, Catlicious, checking in from Southern Australia. Awesome. Good evening, mates, from down under. Jan, goedemorgen, good morning. Robbie, goedemorgen, good morning. So, 2 more planes inbound. First of which is a 737-800, Sun Express flight 744, arriving from Konya. Current flight time 3 hours 48 minutes. Airplane age 7 years. First flight was in June 2016. Behind it is an Embraer 190 arriving from London City from KLM. And there's a third one visible behind it even. Would be an Embraer 195 from Lot arriving from Warsaw. Now it seems that they have also opened runway 18 left for departures. Saw one take off as I was panning. Oh, don't see it anymore. Three more planes visible. Third one would be an A330 from Delta Airlines arriving from Portland, Oregon. In the foreground, an Embraer 190 from KLM arriving from London City. And that would be KLM flight 982. Current flight time 40 minutes. Embraer 190, 5 years old. First flight February 2018. And why not make it a wheelie while you're at it? Bird controller coming in from the right. K4. Embraer 195, the regular 195 from Lot, arriving from Warsaw. Flight time 1 hour and 49 minutes. It is a 16-year-old airplane. Its first flight January 2007. In the meantime, good morning Paul, and good morning to Jackie. Didn't I already say hi to you? Huh. Delta Airlines Airbus A330 arriving from Portland, Oregon, flight 178. Current flight time 9 hours 15 minutes. Airplane age 18 years. First flight was in May 2005. Now looking at flight radar, it seems that this is the only runway for landings right now. Paul informing us that there is another 747 expected, a Saudia 747. So Suparna, Kalitta and Saudia. That makes 3 additional 747s besides the one we already saw, the KLM 747. That would be a very, very, very nice way to begin the week. Right, in the foreground, Lufthansa A320 flight 986 arriving from Frankfurt. Current flight time 51 minutes. It is an 8-year-old airplane. Its first flight was in January 2015. Also, the coots are already awake. They are early birds, contrary to ducks. In the meantime, good morning to Martin, to Wilma, to Gary, Christina. Happy Monday to you all. Hope everybody is doing well. Bloodshot coming in. Finnair A321 arriving from Helsinki, flight 1301. Flight time 2 hours 22 minutes. 6-year-old airplane. Right, SAS Embraer 195 in the foreground and Suparna 747 in the background. Now, I'm going to forego following the Embraer, focus on the 747, and in the meantime let me take you through the METAR. Just reset the ticker again. So the weather for Schiphol, AHAM on the 17th, 6:55 Zulu hours, Zulu time, so that's 8:55 Central European time, so I have to update the ticker. But an hour ago the wind was blowing 12 knots from 250 degrees. The wind was varying between 220 degrees and 280 degrees. Visibility 10 kilometers or more. Few clouds at 2,200 feet. Also towering cumulus clouds. 17 degrees is the temperature, 13 degrees the dew point. Air pressure 1016 hectopascal, and no significant changes in the weather in the upcoming 2 hours expected. Let me see how that has changed. And let me see if the latest METAR is different. Oh, wind has increased to 16 knots. So I'm going to edit the ticker, paste in the new METAR, and now you guys can read along with the new weather. Good morning, Speedbird 1, checking in from North Wales. Thank you so much for your kind words. I will try to keep up the good work. And thank you for tuning in. Droogbier, goedemorgen. So, the latest METAR is from half an hour ago. It will probably be updated in a few minutes again. Wind blowing from 250 degrees, 16 knots, visibility still 10 kilometers or more, few clouds at 2,300 feet, 18 degrees Celsius the current temperature, dew point 13 degrees, air pressure has not changed, and the no significant weather expected has also not changed. So let's now go see the second queen of the day, Suparna Airlines flight 87413. Boeing 747-400 arriving from Nanjing. 10 hours 40 minutes flight time, and she is 31. That there was also a bit of spray from, I think we did have a few showers overnight, and the use of the reverse thrust clearly audible. So she's 31, her first flight August 1991. Didn't we still have the Cold War back then? When did they take down the Berlin Wall? Was that in 87 or was that in 1991? 87, wasn't it? But the Cold War, I think, was that still in the good old days of... Yeah, I think that was still in the Cold War days. When James Bond was valid. Oh, Ronald, just too late. And 1989, okay, so... Okay, Berlin had unified by then, but... Or at least on paper. Yeah, Ronald, if you just tuned in, and all other viewers, we already had two 747s, and I believe there are two more inbound. First up is going to be an SAS A320neo. And you can already see another plane in the background. That would be an A321 arriving from London Gatwick. The A320neo in the foreground, SAS flight 821 arriving from Oslo. Current flight time 1 hour and 33 minutes. A 2-year-old airplane. First flight was in December 2020. Good morning, Tomo, Hyena, Patch, Robijntje. Well, Hyena, I am not a walking encyclopedia, so I don't know exactly how much. I think a knot is 1.8 kilometers. So the knots you can multiply by 2, then you would overestimate the wind speed in kilometers a little bit. But so we are approaching. We're in the 30s. If you want to know it for sure, Google is your friend. Ah, there's a Delta A350 out in 8 minutes. And Paul already informing us that the Kalitta that is also expected. It's been a while, really a while since I've seen that. I did see it depart a few months ago, back when I was still in the beginning stages of the channel. I think in the beginning of the year. It was from Polderbaan. I did make a thumbnail of it, but I think that is the last time I've seen the Kalitta. Although I do believe that that same airplane, while it was taxiing to the runway threshold back then on that day, I did make a profile photo of it for my YouTube channel page. So I think that is the Kalitta 747 that took off that day. And thank you for specifying it, Sander. 1.85 kilometers per hour is 1 knot. So there you go. So that is times 2 minus 10%. Am I? That's times 2 minus 10%, right? Yeah, I think it is. Okay, so 16 knots times 2 is 32 minus 3.2. You can contact me for math tutoring via the email address on my channel page. If you're interested. And 3 more airplanes visible already. In the foreground, Ryanair 737 arriving from Dublin. After that, 737-800 from KLM arriving from Paris Charles de Gaulle. After that, 777 KLM arriving from Johannesburg. This is Ryanair flight 420 arriving from Dublin, 737-800, flight time 1 hour and 9 minutes. And a 13-year-old airplane. Oh, where are the bird controllers? Holy moly. There's quite a big flock right here in the grass field, as you guys probably saw just now. Just looking around to see if I can see the yellow pickup truck, but I don't. That is indeed a fortunate delay for us, Sander. Super awesome. And again, 737-800 arriving from Paris Charles de Gaulle, KLM flight 1224. Now, typical flight time 46 minutes. A 23-year-old airplane. First flight was in May 2000. Prototypical, stereotypical. Why do I keep messing those two up? All right. Oh. In the foreground, KLM flight 592, 777-300ER arriving from Johannesburg, South Africa. Current flight time 10 hours and 19 minutes. The airplane is 12 years old. First flight January 2011. The first of a double triple. And the second not far behind. Hey CJ, good morning. And you're welcome, Matthias. Best at work today. Excellent. Helping you getting through the day since 2022. Also, your best reason to procrastinate from work or school. Next up, Air Canada flight 808, another 777. And another 777. It is a 200 long range. This one arriving from Toronto, Canada. 6 hours, 35 minutes of flight time right now. And that is a 15-year-old triple. Its first flight, February 2008. Behind it, Delta Airlines Flight 74, arriving from Atlanta, Georgia. A350-900, the first A350 of the day. You can also see the runway, the landing gear retract. Hey Daniel, goedemorgen. Ik sta op dezelfde plek als gisteren. Same place as yesterday. The wind is more or less the same as yesterday. Not as strong. But to compensate for that, the wind direction is a bit more angled versus the runway heading, so it still makes for nice crosswind. Yesterday the wind was stronger but more in line with the runway heading. And the wonderful assistant I had yesterday, Daniel, is also in the chat again. Had great fun yesterday with you. Looking forward to seeing you again, my friend. And Lex, I intend to stick around until the arrival of the A380. Not sure what time it is expected, if it is delayed or not. Forgot to check. Just went out this morning. Also, it remains to be seen if we are going to see it or if it is going to land on a different runway, but you never know. Hey, dickhead! My favorite dickhead from down under, Alvin. Good morning, mate. Or good evening, I should say, for you. Or is it afternoon? What? I keep forgetting what the time difference is. It's probably still afternoon, isn't it? So that is an 8-hour time difference. Yeah, early evening I'd say. I think over here we say good evening officially after 6 p.m. Hans-Josef, guten Morgen. Schön, dass du auch dabei bist. Wie geht's? Wie ist das Wetter heute? Hier ist es noch immer windig und nicht zu heiß. Let's see. Next up will be an EasyJet A319. Visible over there, arriving from London Luton. EasyJet flight 22517, flight time 37 minutes, 14-year-old airplane. First flight July 2008. Jean-Yves, salut mon ami, comment ça va aujourd'hui? Right, so in the foreground A319 EasyJet, little to the left and just a little bit above is United Airlines flight 968. That is a Boeing 7879 Dreamliner arriving from San Francisco. Andres Garcia Schmid, guten Morgen, auch aus Deutschland. Auch heute wieder viele deutsch sprechende Freunde dabei. Herzlich willkommen allen. And the birds are also not far away, although the bird controller seems to be nowhere to be found. Still checking. We did see the view. Oh wait, isn't it? Well, well, I'm already zoomed in maximally. I think it is standing over there, right in the middle. On the far end of the runway, doing nothing. While over here the birds are in the grass next to the runway in quite substantial numbers, as we've seen earlier, at least on the other side of where I'm standing, the south side. Butt shot coming in, ladies and gentlemen. We're standing in line with the first exit, so we are going to see the behind of this EasyJet quite well. Hey Remco, goedemorgen. Alrighty. Let us quickly turn around the camera for the arrival of the United Dreamliner. There she is. Crab. Is there more traffic behind it? I don't think I see anything. Mate, you can call me dickhead all you want. I know the context, you know the context. That's the most important thing. I think Yorkshire will also recognize the context and will not ban you outright, so no need to worry. You shouldn't be concerned so much about what other people think about you. That is holding you down in life. Ban those thoughts. I will send you the bill for that advice later. I'm also doing life advice consulting, math tutoring, life advice consulting. Oh! Yillard is informing us that there is a very special Emirates coming this way. The Rugby World Cup, the new Rugby World Cup France livery with the new tail as well. Hey Yillard, what time is it expected to land? Oh, and now we do see the bird controller with the flashlights on. And I'm sure he is speeding if he would be on the public road. Or he would be speeding. Oh mate, you really shouldn't have. Thank you so much, Alvin. But really, the first round is on the house, mate. Right, departures from runway 24. This is what you can see of it. So Samantha, I'm not sure how much we will be able to see from your departure. Hey there, Blackburst. Good morning. Yeah, that is bird control, Steve. If you're into fireworks and if you like airplanes and you're not looking down on working shifts in the evening or night or weekends, it might be the job for you. Ciao Matteo, come stai? Welcome. Another agricultural vehicle coming in. Right, focus on the business at hand. This is a 787-10 Dreamliner KLM flight 644 arriving from New York JFK. Current flight time 6 hours and 16 minutes. The airplane is 2 years old. Its first flight December 2020. The pesky wind is still sometimes blowing my camera, of course. Now, wind or not, leave it to the KLM pilots of the heavies to try to showcase a nice wheelie every now and then. Hey there, Evelyn, good morning. If you just woke up, you missed 2 queens already, but you're just in time to see the third, Kalitta Airways. It was third in line, I think Sander was saying, so now it should be number 2. And yes, it is number 2. There it is. Queen number 3 in... How long have we been streaming for? Less than an hour, I think. Twins TV, guten Morgen, goedemorgen. Right, in the foreground, Croatia Airlines flight 450 A319 arrival from Zagreb, flight time 1 hour 43 minutes, airplane age 23 years, first flight June 2000. Behind it, Kalitta Airways, or Kalitta Air I should say, flight 4205 Boeing 747-400 arriving from New York JFK, current flight time 6 hours 37 minutes, and that is a 25-year-old 747 that had its first flight in July of the year 1997. Back when MTV was still broadcasting music clips. Instead of real life soap crap. So I'm not going to extensively follow the landing of this airplane. It touches down properly, it lands safely. The rest, I believe that. And let's just focus in on Her Majesty the Queen. And the next airplane already behind it. Let's see, that is a 777-300 arriving from Cape Town, KLM. Yep, it is. Yes, Daniel, there is still crosswind. The wind is not blowing as hard as yesterday, but it is blowing more from the west, so there is still more crosswind for the given wind speed. And you can still see that that nose is pointing left of me, as if it was to move left of me, but you can see it moving to the right, so... how about that compliment from Alvin for your job yesterday, Daniel? Your terrific job was noticed even on the other side of the world. all the way down under in Australia, in Sydney. Now, as pretty as she is, I find the landing a bit underwhelming. But that is probably because no reversers have been used, and with the previous Queen we did get to hear them. Hey, lieve goedemorgen. Indeed, just in time. And believe it or not, this is the third Queen already. And there is a fourth still inbound. And the flaps are also going up. Let's quickly go back. See the landing of KLM flight 598 777-300ER arriving from Cape Town, South Africa. 10 hours and 50 minutes of flight time. 11-year-old airplane. First flight June 2012. Hey, Peter PDK, good morning. Real Greens asks, how do they straighten up from crabbing? That is why there is a tail on airplanes. They use the rudder. So as soon as the main landing gear touches down, or just before, they use the left rudder to make it turn to the left and get the nose wheel and the whole airplane in line with the runway. Now, 2 more airplanes visible. Oh wow, Paul. Well, in that case, it's time for you to go away because there is a fourth Queen still incoming, or you need to close your eyes and ears. Maybe that's a better option. Now, in the foreground, SAS flight 1553 CRJ 900 ER, 14 years old. Its first flight December 2008. Current flight time 1 hour and 15 minutes, coming in from Stockholm. Hey Jaap, goedemorgen. Checking in from Gouda in the Netherlands, South Holland. All other viewers who are new to the channel, welcome. You're watching AMS live with me, Boy. Standing again at the Polderbaan as I was yesterday for some crosswind arrivals. Right now, this is the only runway in use for arrivals. They are landing in the from north to south, and the prevailing wind is blowing from the southwest. Last time I checked the weather, 16 knots, and it was increasing a little bit. Now yesterday we had more wind, but the wind was more in line with the runway heading. Today the wind is a bit less intense, but more from the side, so the overall effect is still crabbing. Right in the foreground, Embraer 190 KLM, flight 1352, arrival from Prague. Flight time 1 hour and 14 minutes. Airplane age 13 years. Its first flight January 2010. Alright, the pipeline is filling nicely. Saudia 747 is flying downwind. Should be expected in 10 minutes, 15 minutes or so. Right now 3 airplanes visible in the foreground. Another Embraer 190. After that, Turkish A330. After that, KLM Dreamliner. And in the foreground is British Airways, operated by BA City Flyer, flight 584, Embraer 190 arriving from London City. Flight time 39 minutes, the airplane's age 13 years. First flight was in January 2010. That is a high-pitched airplane, highly pitched. Nice setup for a wheelie, but they did lower the nose wheel quickly, which is not surprising because it would be unsafe to do long wheelies with the airplane in that position with this wind. Turkish, flight 1951, A330-300 arriving from Istanbul, Turkey, flight time 3 hours 5 minutes, airplane age 8 years, first flight April 2015. Hey Martin, goedemorgen. Georgios, good morning. Daniel asks, which are is my favorite airplane? Well, an all-time classic is the Boeing 747, of course. And looking at a bit more modern airplanes, the A350 and the A220 are also really beautiful, in my opinion. Now, if you were to include fighter jets, I would have to say that the F-14 Tomcat is my favorite fighter jet, aesthetically at least. And the Turkish A330 vacating the runway via the first exit, so we get a nice butt shot. We're also hearing some fireworks being set off. That would be the bird controller. Checking to see where it is. Not seeing it right now, but I am hearing it. Ah, there's the culprit. KLM flight 747, and it is a Boeing 7879 Dreamliner arriving from Cartagena. Flight time was 9 hours and 17 minutes. Again, birds flocking over here in the field. The bird controller has chased them away from where he is right now, but he chased them away to over here. So I'm pretty sure we'll see some fireworks being set off in a few minutes. In the meantime, Dutch skies, beautiful. Look at that lovely vista. Hey there Tina, good morning. Pop Transit, good morning, guten Morgen. And all other viewers who have joined us in the meantime, good morning to you too. You're watching crabby arrivals over here at the Polderbaan. The fourth 747 is coming in. If you're starting to hear fireworks, that would be the yellow pickup truck, the bird controller, chasing away birds. Hey there Paul Pixel. Salut Camille, comment ça va? In the foreground, E2 Embraer 195 arriving from Berlin. KLM flight 1822, flight time 1 hour and 6 minutes. The airplane is 2 years old, first flight March 2021. Not going to stay with the airplane for too long because the fourth queen is coming after that. But let's establish that it has indeed landed, which is a bit tippy-toey, but there you go. Queen number 4, ladies and gentlemen. Saudia Cargo, flight 933, arriving from Jeddah. Flight time of this beautiful lady is 5 hours and 27 minutes, and she is 28 years old. First flight January 1995. Hey there Vegas ATC, good day to you. Good morning. Welcome to the show. Glad you're loving it. Hope everybody is having fun. And if you're new to the channel, don't be afraid to say hi, like Vegas ATC just now did. People in the chat are friendly. Also, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. A lot of knowledgeable people over here. Also, a beautiful cloud formation. I think it might be a rain shower left of me. I will show you after the landing of the Queen. Looks like it's not going to blow towards me but past me. But the way it is illuminated by the sun is really beautiful. Saw the birds, you see them in the foreground. They are eerily close to the runway, if you ask me. Not sure why the bird controller is still up there on the north side of the runway and not coming here and chase the birds away that are over here. Right, so 4 queens. Absolutely. What a way to start the Monday. That would be number 5 then. This was number 4, right? Kalitta, Saudia, KLM... Or was it 3? Now look at that, ladies and gentlemen. I think that is might be a shower. Now the wind is blowing from left to right. I'm now angled almost perpendicularly to the wind, so not have to be afraid that it's going to come this way. In the meantime, pretty blue sky on this side at least of the sky. Also beautiful clouds over here. Look at that, beautiful. Really lovely over here. As long as it is going to stay dry. Otherwise I'm not so happy anymore. Yeah. So we did already see 4. So that means there is a 5th coming in. Alberto, good morning, checking in from Mexico City. Awesome to see Mexican viewers having found the channel as well. Welcome, welcome one and all. Let's see, 2 airplanes visible. One in the foreground, in the bottom right, the other in the top left. In the foreground, Transavia 737-800 arriving from Palma de Mallorca. Flight 5626, flight time 2 hours 5 minutes. 5-year-old airplane, first flight March 2018. And there's a very special Emirates A380 underway. What time was it expected to arrive? Normally it arrives around 1:15 p.m. Is it on schedule today? Jean-Yves, I'm definitely not an English teacher. Oh, the wind is picking up. That is gusting. Good news, as long as they keep Polderbaan open for arrivals and not switch to runway 27. EasyJet A319 arrival from Prague in the Czech Republic. 1 hour and 14 minutes of flight time. It is 12 years old. First flight July 2011. Well, Hyena 95, you're not asking silly questions. At the time that all these airplanes are arriving over here, on the other side of the airfield, a similar number is taking off as well. So there's always coming and going of airplanes all day. And this is all calculated to make sure that no airplanes have to wait for a parking place, that there's always something available. So they also assign so-called time slots to airplanes. That means that they can occupy a gate for a certain amount of time. And it's all calculated beforehand and through experience, so that all the airplanes coming in always have a parking place without having to wait for one, because an approximate similar number will always be taking off as well given any hour. Now the wind is still there, you can see it in the water. And also, if I show you guys the chimney smoke in the distance, blowing away from me almost horizontally. If I let go of the camera, the wind will change the direction. The same happened yesterday, and each time I am following an airplane, the same thing happens. The wind is constantly trying to move the camera in a different direction than what I am trying to move it in. So it makes for back and forth motions that is hard to control. You cannot correct for it. Let me see if I can update the weather in the meantime. Take you through the latest weather. I think the wind is increasing. Yes, it has increased to 17 knots right now. And from 260 degrees, so that is almost perpendicular to the runway heading. The airplanes are landing to the south and the wind is now blowing almost directly from the west. Copy, paste, and save. So the latest weather update in the ticker from 8:25 Zulu time, so that is 10:25 Central European time, so that is from 15 minutes ago. Wind blowing from 260 degrees, that's almost directly from the west, 17 knots, varying between 230 degrees and 290 degrees. Visibility 10 kilometers or more. Now let me go back to the camera, show you guys the landing. A butt shot coming in. So the rest of the weather, it's already gone, but the 9999 means more 10 kilometers or more visibility. View 023 means few clouds at 2,300 feet. The temperature was 19 degrees, dew point 12 degrees, and the air pressure 1,017 hectopascals. So the wind is now almost directly at a straight angle from the runway. And it is blowing with 17 knots. we be seeing some fireworks being set off by the bird controller in a minute? Or is it just patrolling? Right, E2 Embraer 195 from Geneva inbound. KLM flight 1926. Flight time 1 hour and 9 minutes. And the airplane is a year old. First flight March 2022. Two airplanes in the distance. Oh, and now now he is making noise. You can also see a flak flying away. Let's see. Well, if you guys are keeping addressing the issue, I haven't worn your t-shirt, Sander, because I have a web shop of my own with my own merchandise. And what you basically did was borrow my logo without asking me, make t-shirts of with my logo on it. And why would I wear t-shirts that are basically counterfeit from the original while I make my own and sell my own? So what I was wearing yesterday is my own merchandise that you can find in my merchandise shop. And while I appreciate the gesture, Sander, I haven't worn any of your t-shirts. Right, next up, Tarom, Boeing 737-800, flight 361, arriving from Bucharest. Flight time 2 hours 38 minutes. This airplane 6 years old, first flight May 2017. Now, Sander, don't get me wrong, I appreciate the gesture, my friend, really I do, but I have my own t-shirts and my own hats and my own hoodies. I was wearing a hoodie that you can buy in the merch shop, either via Spreadshirt or if you look at the store tab on the YouTube channel. I really appreciate the gesture, my friend, and the effort that you took to come visit me personally, to hand it over to me. So I don't want you to understand me wrong. It's just, well, I have my own stuff, you know. Dreamliner from TUI, Boeing 7878, arriving from Willemstad, Curaçao. And Roy asks, do the power windmills seen from on screen supply power to the airport? That's a good question. I'm not sure if they do. They are in the port area of Amsterdam. And yesterday Jerry Donnelly made a very funny joke. He said if they stop those windmills, then it wouldn't be blowing so hard. Would be awesome if they were causing the wind. Still a magnificent cloud to see. Really have to zoom out fully to show it. It does look like it might be a rain shower. Thought I saw a heron, but that is really far out. Now 2 airplanes over here. So I probably missed it, but what was the expected time of arrival of the Emirates A380, ladies and gentlemen? Sorry if I keep repeating the question. If somebody answered it, I must have missed it in the chat. Because it is a very special livery. Yillard was saying that it's coming today, so I am really hoping that the wind doesn't become too westerly and too hard, because then they probably will divert all traffic to runway 27. Okay, so it is in time, 1:15. Thanks guys for updating me. Hey Ton, also present. Goedemorgen. Well, yesterday we were lucky to see it land on the Polderbaan. I'm not going to pretend that I'm actually thinking we are going to see it today. The only thing we can hope for is that by the time the A380 arrives, they will have resorted to parallel arrivals so that at least it will be visible from over here. But I'm not getting my hopes up too high, but at least I'll know until when to stick around to see if we might capture a glimpse of it. In the meantime, a Dreamliner from KLM is arriving from Las Vegas, I was about to say. Las Vegas. KLM flight 636, Boeing 7879 Dreamliner, flight time 9 hours 24 minutes. It is a 6-year-old airplane that had its first flight in September 2016. Oi! Well, it's always good to have AMS Live on in the background. I talk loud enough so that I make my way to the foreground regardless. Now, looking at flight radar, it looks like 27 is already open again. So it looks like today 27 is the secondary runway for arrivals. I was hoping it was only going to be that in the early morning, but considering it is 5 to 11 almost, I'm thinking they are going to keep that the same for the upcoming hours. That means that the A380 is going to arrive and land on runway 27 most likely, and that is pretty much out of sight from over here. Now the A380 is big enough that you might be able to see a glimpse of it. Let me see if I can try to show you guys what is visible of inbound traffic for 27 from over here. But let me tell you, it isn't a lot. So if that A380 is going to 27, we're out of luck. Let me see. A321neo now going there. That's also not the biggest of airplanes. I'm looking visually over my camera to see if I can spot it, but I cannot at the moment. Oh wait, I can. So inbound traffic for, let me see, a bit more to the right, left. There you go. Inbound traffic for runway 27. This is what you can see of it. This is probably the Aegean A321neo. Still have 2 hours to drive to the back. Thanks for the advice, Tom. Yeah, so we are going to see a semblance of an A380, but not more than that if it is going to runway 27 by the time it arrives. And yeah, that's probably, that's not unlikely. Paul has to go see the doctor due to an overdose of queens in the on the Monday morning. Well, Paul, best of luck with the doctor later. Maybe we'll see you later during the stream. If not, enjoy the rest of your day and the rest of your week, and we'll see each other again later, undoubtedly. Hey George, goedemorgen. Yeah, but you also have backlight here as well, Tom. I mean, don't think it would be that much different. The sun is quite high already in the sky right now. Actually, already, well, it's not at its highest yet, but it is damn close to it. Now that rain shower, or at least that cloud, is now moving left to right. In the meantime, over here we see another TUI Dreamliner 7878 arriving from Bonaire, flight 703, flight time 8 hours 43 minutes. The airplane is 8 years old, first flight March 2015. Hey, good morning, Roleons. That's probably not a loud Z, you should probably say Roleon. Tony, morning. Checking in from the United Kingdom. Welcome, mate. Hope everybody is doing well. Over here, we're watching arrivals, crosswind arrivals, Polderbaan. Another Dreamliner coming in, KLM Flight 696. Arriving from Toronto, Canada, 6 hours and 25 minutes of flight time. She's 4 years old, first flight, August 2018. And at the moment, the ticker is a bit outdated in terms of runway usage. At the moment, runway 27 is also again in use for arrival, so not all traffic is going to this runway. Although I'm thinking they will probably close 27 again within the hour, only to reopen it again just before the A380 enters Dutch airspace, or just around that time. That is what they typically have been doing. Yesterday was an exception. Indeed, Rob, beautiful Dutch skies, definitely. The skies can't get any more Dutch than this. Also, looking back at the main platform area, beautiful contrasty clouds. Let me also take a moment to look at the weather radar, see what is cooking. Okay, well, there is a bit of instability in the air. Some showers south of me and north of me. So this is definitely one of the showers north of me. Now they do seem to be forming in a line, and thus far that line is south of me and north of me. It is something to keep looking out for though. Now needed to unsplit my screen to look at the weather radar. So I have re-enabled split screen with flight radar and with the live chat. So this is KLM. Is it a KLM? No, it isn't. This is Royal Air Morocco. The overflying airplane was KLM. Royal Air Morocco flight 1682, arriving from Tangier in Morocco. A320, now touchdown after 2 hours and 28 minutes of flying. 18 years old. Some people have coined this a wedding dress livery. All white. So rain showers south of me. I think we can already see some of them in the distance. And a few north. Although obscured by friendly clouds in the foreground. Bird controller is also doing things. Imagine how many speeding tickets they would have accumulated had there been traffic cameras over there. For now, 2 airplanes coming this way. Hey Gerrit, goedemorgen. And that's a very reassuring message from Tomo, safe from the rain for probably the next hour at least. In the foreground, A320 Air Malta arriving from Malta. Flight 394, flight time 2 hours 51 minutes. The airplane's age 16 years, first flight February 2007. 737 from KLM arriving from Paris, Charles de Gaulle behind it. Bumpy, but solid, and that's the most important thing. Although coming from Malta, I hope these folks are prepared for the colder temperatures. Hey there, Ellie. It is a windy day. 17 knots according to the latest METAR and almost perpendicularly to the runway heading, 260 degrees. Now this runway is from north to south, as you might have heard that, although I'm not sure with the directionality of my Sennheiser, but that previous airplane, the brakes squealed quite a bit. So even though the wind speed is lower than it was yesterday during my live stream, the wind direction is more angled towards the runway heading, so the net result is still crosswind that will probably be comparable with what was going on yesterday, although yesterday the wind in general was blowing harder and the direction was more in line with the runway heading, although that also widened later in the stream and became more angled. Hey, there's a BizJet coming in, ladies and gentlemen. Well, Ellie, that were the brakes, the squeaky brakes of the Royal Air Maroc preceding the airplane I was pointing the camera towards. Next up is a BizJet coming in from Farnborough. I'm probably mispronouncing it. And it is Gama, single M, Gama Aviation, Gama, Bombardier Challenger 650. Well, that is a very small airplane. I think I'm seeing it. Daniel would probably have seen it way ahead of me. You can also see that there's a second airplane in the distance behind it. Let me have a look. First fixate the camera. Farnborough. Iberia Express A320 behind it arriving from Madrid. Interesting to see how a small BizJet handles the crosswind. Sorry Mr. Clive Lupo, but there is a dinky toy coming in right now. Even though it specifically was saying no toys allowed on the signs everywhere. Well, that seemed to have been relatively unaffected by the wind. Or it's just a very skilled pilot, but it seems like the bigger airplanes were struggling more with the wind than this BizJet was. Or the pilot of the BizJet. Well, Evelyn, they do often do that. Most of the time, in fact. but we have seen them use different runways. I've seen a couple of BizJets land on Polderbaan already, and also streaming at Kaagbaan I also saw a couple land. In fact, that one that I used as a thumbnail recently, the 2 YOLO airplane with the funny configuration, that was landing in fact on runway 06 just before I was wrapping up that stream, because all the traffic, the main airplane, the main traffic had been directed to runway, what was it, 36 right. They closed the 06 runway, but they did allow that YOLO airplane to land. Right, A320 Iberia Express, arrival from Madrid, flight 3722, an hour and 52 minutes of flight time. Tiptoeing, but now with its feet on the ground. A 21-year-old airplane, first flight February 2002. I'm also checking what the sky is looking like behind me. Some nice patches of blue here and there. This is where the wind is coming from, so although cloudy, it doesn't seem too threatening. Today, Evelyn, I think one of the queens was 31 years old and was from 1991. I think that is the oldest we've seen. The oldest in general, although I haven't seen it land, but I did see it shortly after takeoff and shortly before landing, is the 79-year-old DC-3 Dakota that is doing round trips in the weekends. That is from the Dutch Dakota Association. That is undoubtedly the oldest airplane that we have seen on the show so far, since I started the channel. Embraer 190 from KLM arriving from Norwich. Photo for you is informing us that there's a Bombardier Global in 6 minutes. So more BizJets will be coming. Right now the next airplane is going to be a Transavia 737. And is that the BizJet behind it already? Let me have a look on flight radar. No, that would be the Play lipstick airplane. Hey there, John Hakon, checking in from Stavanger. Good morning. So that is the plane, the play plane as number 2. The lipstick plane, or the salami airplane, or some said it looked like the packaging of condoms. Either way, that bright red thing is next after this Transavia that is arriving from Barcelona. Right, so this is Play Flight 460, Airbus A320neo, arriving from Reykjavik, 2 hours and 37 minutes of flying time under its belt already. It is 6 years old, first flight April 2017. And yes, Mr. Clive Lupo Transavia is very much Dutch. Absolutely. Now if you just tuned in, welcome to the show. You're watching AMS Live with me, Boy, and we are standing next to the Polderbaan as we did yesterday. Crosswind arrivals. Currently one of the 2 runways in use for arrivals together with runway 27. The prevailing wind is blowing more or less from the west, a little bit from the south, the west-southwest. 17 knots, last time I checked the weather. It is almost perpendicular, the wind direction, to the runway heading. This is airplanes flying from the north and landing to the south. Runway 18 right, so they are flying directly to the south. Crosswind from the right for the airplanes, which means they are crabbing and facing us on their glide, on the glide slope towards the runway threshold. Yesterday the wind was a bit stronger and angled more in line with the runway heading. Today it is more angled, a bit softer, gentler, although 17 knots is still a wind speed that makes for nice crabbing. Right, so playtime is over. It has landed successfully. Will we be seeing a butt shot? I think we will. We're standing in line with the first exit, so planes using that exit to vacate will taxi away directly away from us. Spoilers lowered, and we'll probably see the flaps retract. I think they are they doing that already? Not yet. Right. Good morning, Cathay Spotter. Here is KLM flight 1050, Embraer 190, arriving from Bristol. Short flight, 46 minutes. Now touching down successfully. No go-arounds yet. 13-year-old airplane. And in KLM fashion, keeping up the speed, staying on the runway, vacate late, earlier at the gate. Top left we can see the next airplane, and in the foreground, just right of center, the next, and that is KLM flight 1414, Embraer 175, arriving from Lyon in La France. This Embraer is underway now for 1 hour and 13 minutes, 5 years old, first flight April 2018. And yes, John, we do have a little bit of wind, 17 knots, almost perpendicularly to the runway heading, this runway. And it has been increasing each time I checked the METAR for an update this morning, the wind speed had increased with another knot. update the METAR as soon as there is a momentary lull in traffic. Ball Radio Shack on the left. Also checking in. Another young viewer. One of the few people over here today. It is, despite the fact that 2/3 of the schools are having summer holiday right now, it is not as busy as it was yesterday. I think there might be more people. Yeah, if you look in the center, just in the foreground of that building, you can see people standing, and that is at there's a gate there. That is the main Spottersplatz parking lot. So I guess a lot of people chose to stay there to watch the airplanes land. And here we have an Embraer 190 arriving from Manchester. 43 minutes of flight time. The airplane is 13 years old. First flight March 2010. Tippy-toey. But then, look at that. An unexpected wheelie. Holy cow, still going. Haha. Alright, wheelie competitor number 1. And what a wheelie this has been. The bar is set quite high. Not sure if there are going to be any heavies that'll do better than that. Also, lovely sight with the clouds over here if you look above. Not sure if the camera can convey what it looks like in real life. Really beautiful clouds over here. While we're at it, let me show you another 360. So, for your orientation, this is the west. This is the southwest, where the wind is blowing from, more or less. This is the south. Also, between the clouds you can see those cirrus formation. I think those are cirrus clouds, those high clouds with the stripes and the tiger spots. Southeast, east, northeast, and north again. And Evelyn, this channel does not have a Discord server as far as I know. I have no idea what it is, so I guess I probably don't have one. And thanks for making me feel an old man now. I have no idea what a Discord server is. So I think we don't have one. At least I don't have one. Maybe someone else has one. I'm not sure if that is possible. I have absolutely no idea what a Discord server is, so I have absolutely no idea if we need one or not. This is beautiful. I think the camera doesn't do justice to how it looks in real life. Let's see, Embraer 175 arriving from Southampton, and behind it is another airplane. Let's see, that is a 737-800 arriving from Birmingham. What I am going to do now first is zoom out a little bit and quickly turn around, head to the laptop, and see if I can update the ticker with the latest weather. I think the wind has increased further, but looking to confirm that via... Oh no, 16 knots. Oh, gusts 26. So this is the first meter that also mentions gusts. Gusts up to 26 knots. Right. Just in time. Stereotypical KLM landing, keeping up the speed, staying on the runway, vacate late, early to the gate. Trademark. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the layout of Schiphol Airport, this is the latest edition, the Polderbaan, runway 18 right, 36 left. Built 20 years ago in 2003, and it is far removed from the main platform area and the main terminal building. The original ATC control tower is visible over there, and if I zoom out you can see how freaking far away it is. That is also why this runway has its dedicated ATC control tower over here. Otherwise it would not be able to see, the ATC controllers would not be able to see what is going on over here. Before it is a dedicated fire station. Today we haven't seen the daily patrol round of the firemen. I'm not sure if they did it already before I arrived on the scene or if they're going to do it later in the day. I think we did also see a late morning round a week ago or something. Hey Helene, goedemorgen. Thanks for the kind words. I'm happy to oblige and I'm glad you're enjoying. Hey Nelly, goedemorgen. Good to see you again as well. Hope you're doing well. Hope everybody is doing well, of course. If you're new to the channel, don't be afraid to say hi in the chat. Friendly folk over here, also very knowledgeable. So should you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask. And the 737 pilot probably got news of the wheelie competition and that the bar was set by his colleague or her colleague. Giving it a try. Unfortunately, not as long as the one we saw before. Now, let me quickly restart the ticker and take you through the weather as it is passing by in the ticker. Let me set the camera so that you guys can in the meantime also see what is coming in. Eham is the name of this airport, Schiphol Airport. Hey, servus Peppi, schön, dass du auch wieder dabei bist. Hoffentlich ist es nicht zu heiß heute in Innsbruck. So, Eham is the name of the airport, Schiphol Airport. It is the 17th today, 8:55 Zulu time, means 10:55 CET. So that is from half an hour ago, this weather update. Wind 250 degrees, 16 knots, gusts up to 26. Wind direction variable between 210 and 290 degrees. So that is from basically south to basically west. Visibility 10 kilometers or more, few clouds to at 2,700 feet, temperature 19 degrees, dew point 12 degrees, pressure, air pressure 1,017 hectopascals, and no significant changes in the weather to be expected. In the meantime, a few droplets are falling over here. There's a bit darker cloud now passing over. I think it is going to last only a few minutes. Not too concerned about this, but it is indicative of instability in the atmosphere. This is an Embraer 190 arriving from London City, KLM flight 986. Flight time of this airplane 35 minutes, now 36 minutes. It is a 14-year-old airplane. Its first flight October 2008. And it is already a bit cooler in Innsbruck. 25 Grad heute. Das ist viel besser als mehr als 30. Das ist besser. Now, next up is KLM flight 767. But no, it is not a Boeing 767, it is an A330-300. KLM has a way of doing that. Inbound from Bonaire, the Caribbean. Current flight time 8 hours 53 minutes. The airplane is 10 years old. First flight January 2013. Now the rain is starting to fall a bit more heavily. I'm expecting it to only last for a few minutes. So what I'm going to do is get my umbrella out so that I can at least cover the camera. For the duration, just a few isolated droplets. And yes, Jeremy, indeed crabbing, there is crosswind. If you look in the ticker, you can see that the wind is blowing almost perpendicularly to the runway heading. Hence the crabbing. At the moment a few rain droplets are falling, so I'm holding the umbrella over my camera so it doesn't get too wet, and also hopefully the lens doesn't get droplets on it. Because unlike yesterday, today I did not bring... Oh, I do have paper handkerchiefs with me in case I need to wipe clean the lens. Now this is single hand camera operation because one of my hands is holding the umbrella. So bear with me, folks, this is only temporary. Unfortunately I cannot zoom in and out and pan at the same time. Well, I think the majority of the rain has already fallen. Doesn't sound like significant rain is falling anymore. Getting rid of the storm umbrella. I have two, a small one and a big one, in case an emergency evacuation has to take place. Has happened to me before, just in the nick of time, back at the car with the camera equipment when it started pouring. Right, now, back to the action. 3 airplanes visible in the distance. In the foreground is a Boeing 737-800. KLM flight 1230, arriving from Paris Charles de Gaulle, where it left 43 minutes ago. Boeing 737-800, 15 years old, first flight March 2008. And another Daniel is tuning in from Melbourne. Good day to you, my friend. Jean-Yves asks if I have protection in my ears. I do not. I do have earplugs if I ever go to festivals, but I haven't been in years. But I'm not wearing any ear protection when I'm out here. Don't think that is required. The sounds are loud but only short-lived, so don't think you'll do any substantial damage to your ears. But that is just maybe wishful thinking. Right, trying to wipe clean the camera screen I'm looking at to show you the footage. There we go, unobstructed view again. And the sun has started shining again as well. Hey there, Vincent. All right. Let's see, EasyJet A320neo, flight 22515, arriving from London Luton. Departed 39 minutes ago. 5-year-old airplane, first flight June 2018. Again, the sun is nicely out over here. Shopping, baby! Good morning! Checking in from Western Massachusetts. Really enjoying the show. Thank you for your kind words and welcome to the stream, my friend. Glad you're enjoying. I'm doing the best I can to give you a nice time. I think the wind is also helping a lot in that respect today. Now, this big behemoth is a 777-300 ER arriving from Willemstad, Curaçao. The wheelie competition has another competitor, even though this was a long wheelie, it was nowhere near as long as the one from the Embraer. That really surprised me. Although we have seen that Embraers are quite capable of doing long wheelies, but on days like today I wasn't expecting to see one, particularly not by a small airplane like that. In the meantime, over here, beautiful clouds again. Really nice. Behind me it also looks decent. Next up is going to be an Embraer 190 arrival from Stavanger. KLM flight 1198. Flight time right now 1 hour and 15 minutes. A 9-year-old airplane, first flight November 2013. Hey Larry, good morning. Good to see you again, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Mike Wild also tuning in from the UK. Good morning, mate. In the distance, a second Embraer, an Embraer 175 arrival from Humberside. So Embraer 190 in the foreground, arrival from Stavanger. Embraer 175 arriving from Humberside after that. Both KLM. And it looks like further out a triple is coming in from Vancouver, also from KLM. Just turning onto the glide slope, as you guys can see. Number 3. What a wonderful vista. So, if you just tuned in, you're watching crosswind arrivals on Polderbaan. Bit similar to what we were doing yesterday, although yesterday the wind was blowing a bit harder. Today it is more angled versus the runway heading. And again, a big wheelie from a little Embraer. Look at that, it is still going. Damn. Now I'm not sure which of the two was the longest. Someone has to watch the replay and measure it. Holy moly. Glad to hear, Larry. Hope everybody is enjoying. Nice to know. Cam86NZ checking in from Wellington, New Zealand. Thank you for joining. Welcome to the show. Nice of you to let yourself be heard. Introduce yourself. All viewers who are new to the channel, don't be afraid to say hi. Also, if you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask them. Knowledgeable folk over here in the chat, and friendly as well. Embraer 175 arriving from Humberside. Short flight across the North Sea. Let's quickly turn around because there is a triple arriving. This would be KLM flight 682, arriving from Vancouver, Canada after 8 hours and 26 minutes of flight time right now. 777-300 ER, 15 years old. First flight of this airplane was in March 2008. Now looking at flight radar, I don't see any inbound traffic for 27 anymore, so I'm guessing it is now all traffic to Polderbaan once again, this runway. Now there's a very special livery, Emirates A380, expected around 1 p.m, so in 1.5 hours, just over 1.5 hours from now. Yesterday we were very lucky to see the Emirates A380 land on this runway. Today I'm not sure if we'll be so lucky, although I definitely hope we will be, because it is a very nice livery of the Rugby World Championship, I think it was, in France. Definitely an airplane worth looking up close. Looking at up close, but time will tell if we'll be so lucky today. Okay, LV and L. Well, in practice I don't see any traffic going to runway 27 anymore. So it might be that if you check LV and L again in 5 minutes from now, that it might confirm 27 being closed. Right now, another airplane coming this way. And it is an Embraer 190 from German Airways, flying for KLM as KLM flight 1986, arriving from Basel, which I'm told, although the city is in Switzerland, the airport is actually in France. Flight time of this airplane at the moment 57 minutes. It is 14 years old. First flight was in January 2009. Alright, Evelyn, see you later, alligator. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully see you again soon, maybe later. And if not, enjoy the rest of your day. Also a nice moment to take a sip of water. Well, fingers crossed, Evelyn, that we'll be able to see it up close. I'm not daring to bet any money on it yet, but who knows? We might be lucky 2 days in a row. Now I'm also looking back and forth in the water, but other than the two coots that we saw earlier, at the moment no birds in the water anymore. Or at least maybe they are, but they're hiding really well. Huh. Following goes relatively smoothly. Seems that the wind is momentarily... Oh no, it's picking up again already. It was a momentary lull. So yeah, in the water, not much to be seen. Further out, nothing. Stone slab and a little peninsula, also empty. Here too, not much to be seen. Birds are either on holiday or have gone into hiding. Hey, H. Michael R1, checking in from Nashville. Good morning and welcome. Our next airplane visible, an Embraer 190, arriving from London City, KLM, flight 988. Short 37-minute flight so far. It is a 12-year-old airplane with its first flight in August 2010. And Yellard is informing us that the expected arrival of the A380 today will be 1:15 p.m. local time, so that is in 1.5 hours from now. Time will tell if it is going to this runway or if it might land on runway 27. My guess is runway 27 has now closed and will reopen again shortly before the A380 is either in Dutch airspace or before it is going to land. That could also be an outcome, Alan. Drizzled in hoisin sauce. And soon to be found in fragments in the sewage after having been digested in people's intestinals. Hey Ina, guten Tag. Schön, dass du auch wieder dabei bist. Hope you're doing well. Beautiful clouds over here looking at Schiphol south of me, so luckily no threat, but beautiful nonetheless. Look at that contrast. Also still some blue sky in between the clouds. Really lovely sight. Hey, goedemorgen Hans. Checking in from Almere. We can almost see you from over here, so close by is that. This is where the wind is blowing from, so yours truly is going to be good for the time being, unless of course some droplets will fall from this. Something like that also passed over earlier when the droplets fell, but so far it's been staying dry, so I'm thinking we're good. All kinds of flowers over here in the field. Occasionally some purple ones. Now I have no expertise of flowers whatsoever, so I have no idea what these are. They do look nice in between the overall white over here. Also some yellow here and there. And airplanes landing here still have a significant taxi. 10 minutes typically, at least, if not 15. Have to taxi along the line of trees all the way back to the main platform area, which is visible in the background. Now, F-15 US Air Force coming from the north. Is it April Fools already? How time flies. So, I'm not seeing anything on flight radar. (6,000 feet). Well, it's not shown on flight radar, I can tell you that much. I'm also not hearing anything. Above Alkmaar. Scrolling more to the north. Well, for some reason, flight radar doesn't show military aircraft. I'm not seeing anything. Flying over Texel. Oh, yeah. Hey, interesting. An actual F-15 flying over Texel. Are they doing... Is there an exercise going on? NATO exercise or something? Where did it come from? Ghost plane. Interesting. Oh, they just turned off the transponder. Okay, so they're going into attack mode. Holy shit. Anyway, the next airplane we'll be expecting is turning final somewhere in the north. Let me see. Yeah, there it is. And inbound from Los Angeles, Boeing 787-10 Dreamliner Flight 604 KLM. And Aphrodite, thank you so much for your smiling face with sunglasses super sticker. Got a little distracted by all the ruckus about an F-15 maybe doing a strike on the Polderbaan, but thank you very much. Hey Lance, also present. Good to see you again, mate. Well, once again a few droplets are falling, which is interesting because the sky right above me is almost blue, so just a few droplets I'm expecting, not getting out the umbrella this time. So, KLM flight 604, Boeing 787-10 Dreamliner arrival from Los Angeles and underway now for 9 hours and 41 minutes. It is a 2-year-old airplane. First flight of this airplane was in August 2020. Let me re-enable the Amsterdam filter. So, what's the scorecard? 4 queens right now, and well, let's see if we can also add the king this day. Delta A330 behind it. Delta A330 arriving from Minneapolis. And soon arriving, hopefully I can capture it in one shot. The next airplane, number 3, is arriving from the east, but it is still above warmer veer, so I'm not sure if we'll see it. I'm hoping we will, but I'm not sure that we are. Nah. 737, number 3. Huh. Again, an airplane that followed smoothly as if there was no wind. Is the wind subsiding? Once again, returning to the laptop quickly. Looking at the crabbing. Doesn't seem to slow down that much, but over here on the ground it does feel a little bit more calm. Okay, well, no. Yeah, wait a minute, 16 knots. Wind has slowed down a little bit. But I'm also expecting a new METAR any moment now. They typically update 5 to the hour and 25 minutes past the hour. So let's just have a look at another METAR in 10-15 minutes or so from now. Delta Airlines flight 164, Airbus A330-300 arriving from Minneapolis. Flight time 7 hours 24 minutes. The airplane is 16 years old. First flight December 2006. Bit of a letdown. I did hear the engine spool up initially, so they did apply a minute amount of reverse thrust, but they quickly cancelled it again. Bit unfortunate. Russell Crowe and the family having a little fun. And in the meantime, right here, the sun is starting to shine again. And gorgeous skies over here in the Netherlands once again. Really beautiful. again, two airplanes visible in the foreground. Transavia Boeing 737-800 arriving from Zakynthos. Behind it is an Embraer 190 from KLM, arriving from Cardiff. That's a good question, Gerrit. The waterbirds seem to have gone. I did do a round back and forth with the camera along the canal, or the moot, whatever you want to call it, but we didn't see any. With the exception of two coots earlier. No grebes, no ducks have been seen so far today. Just the two coots. And that was earlier in the morning and only briefly. Okay, well, the wind is picking up again. Also, the rippling in the water clearly shows the wind is still there. The proxy windsock in the distance, the chimney smoke blowing away almost horizontally. Hey there, Hidde. Hey there, Amy. Hey there, Jeremy. Either that, Gerrit, or they are on holiday. That could also be the case. Maybe they felt it was too cold and were looking for the heat in Southern Europe. Two Embraer 190s coming in. The first one, KLM flight 1060, arriving from Cardiff. Current flight time 51 minutes. The airplane is 14 years old. First flight April 2009. And we're going to see a bird control vehicle in the foreground from right to left. That would be K1. We saw K4 earlier in the Ford Ranger. This is a VW K1. So we've seen no shortage of birds along the runway today. Taking a moment to show you guys the beautiful cloud formations a bit more closer up. Really magnificent with the lighting. Now that bird control vehicle is already further up north. And this would be another Embraer 190 flying for KLM, but this time it is another German Airways Embraer 190 arriving from Newcastle, flying as KLM flight 954. It is an Embraer 190 long range, 16 years old, first flight January 2007. I think we might see a butt shot. It is taking the first exit. Spoilers are lowered already. The flaps will retract soon. We're standing in line with the first exit of this runway. So each time they're using it, we get this nice butt shot looking directly at the airplane from behind. Well, Amy, I'm doing really well. Thank you for asking. Lovely weather over here. We have had a few droplets, but other than that, I'm doing well. Nice weather, beautiful airplanes to film, a nice crowd again. It is what the Dutch would call gezellig. Having everybody in the chat accompany me. So, couldn't think of a better way to start the week than with you guys over here with weather like this. Beautiful clouds, not too warm, not too cold. Windy but not too windy. Now folks, we have a very interesting Emirates A380 coming in today, and I'm really hoping that we might see it like we did yesterday. Yesterday we got a lucky break. It went to the polar bound when it could have also been directed to 18 center. It is a very special livery, worth looking up close. Now the reality is, it is very likely going to be landing on runway 27 later. More than likely, but I'm going to stick around at least until the landing. If it is going to land on runway 27, we won't be able to see it from very up close. Only the silhouette will be visible from over here. We are far removed from the other runways. Traffic landing or taking off from other runways is visible, but only barely. Right now, yet another Embraer 190 crabbing its way to the runway threshold. This is KLM flight 1542, arriving from Leeds. 45 minutes of flight time. 9-year-old airplane. And although the airplanes are crabbing their way to the runway, we haven't seen any go-arounds today, thus far. So conditions have not been that extreme yet. Yesterday we saw 2 and we saw 1 near go around that was also very spectacular. If you missed yesterday's stream, definitely look back the highlights. We have seen 2 go arounds, and the almost go around was really iffy. They really had me thinking it was going to go around for a minute, but the pilot committed to landing after all and put her down really nicely, I have to say. Respect for the pilot landing that 777. That's a good combination there, DP 2017, working and at the same time having AMS Live on your iPad. Fred Penning, good day, checking in from Queensland, Australia. Netherlands, my homeland. Was born in Hilversum in 1948, came to Australia in 1954. I've been back 3 times, that was fun. Excellent. Do you still speak Dutch or is it very rusty? I can imagine it being very rusty, having lived abroad so long. Now with the sun being out, it is getting nice with the temperature as well. Standing out here in jeans and a hoodie, it was a bit at times at the border of being a bit too cold. Now, you guys can see instability is in the atmosphere. These are not clouds formed under calm weather conditions. There are some showers, and I think we're looking at them in the distance. They are forming south of us. The wind is blowing them away from us, so no need to fear that this is going to come near. There were also some clouds and showers forming in the north. I'm thinking that maybe what is visible behind this building in the foreground is also precipitation falling from a shower, a rain shower. Always nice to see rain shower formation, as long as it is not in the vicinity. Oh, that was the wind once again grabbing hold of my camera and blowing it to the right violently. A little bit of reverse thrust there, right of welding, which under current lighting conditions looks very nice. Added drama by the grey background as the taxi passed this part. Alright, now I'm looking at flight radar, and it seems that at the moment there is no more traffic coming over here. Or is that just a hiccup in flight radar? I do see K1 now passing by on the other side with the lights on, so I'm thinking runway inspection. But in general, I don't see any traffic in the vicinity as well. Maybe they've shut down the airspace because of what the F-15 was doing further up north, although that doesn't seem to be very likely. Lunch break, exactly. Hey, Ali Boscasil Jr., good to see you again. You were present already, weren't you? Now I'm just forgetting things. I'm also... Am I out of coffee? I think I am. Yeah, I am. In the meantime, no shortage of beautiful cloud formations over here. Is that a towering cloud, or is that just an optical illusion? It looks like it is a tower, or is it something in the foreground obscuring the background? Hard to properly assess the depth and the height of all these clouds. Right, so more traffic is coming. Boeing 737 from KLM arriving from Milan is underway. It is crossing the marker mirror between Lelystad and Purmerend right now. Gives me time to drink a few sips of water. So in an hour from now, the Emirates A380 is expected to arrive. Let me also have a look at the current runway usage and the weather and update the entire ticker for you guys. Let's see, lvnl.nl. If you guys want to see the current runway usage, lvnl.nl. That's the website of Luchtverkeersleiding Nederland, Air Traffic Control Netherlands. And on the homepage you can scroll down and you can see a map of the runway usage right now. So this runway is now the only runway in use for arrivals, 18 right, and departures still take place from 18 left and runway 24. So that is still accurate. Alright, then it is time for me to go to flight radar. Go to the METAR. And copy paste that into the ticker. Paste and adjust the font size. There we go. Now it's still 1 hour that the Emirates A380 is out. Should be arriving in an hour from now. In the meantime, in the bottom in the ticker, the latest weather update. Not sure if I know all the abbreviations that are mentioned in this one, but let me take you through it. So AAM is Schiphol Airport. It is the 17th, 9:55 Zulu time, means 11:55 Central European time, so that is 20 minutes from now. 20 minutes ago, sorry. The wind is blowing with 16 knots from 240 degrees, so that's from the southwest. The wind direction is variable between 210 and 280 degrees. That means from south to west. 9999 means visibility is 10 kilometers or more. Minus SHRA means minor showers and rain. Few clouds at 2,700 feet, towering cumulus clouds, 20 degrees Celsius is the current air temperature, dew point 12 degrees, and the pressure is still 1017 hectopascal. No significant changes in the upcoming 2 hours are expected. So that is the weather update. And in the meantime, air traffic to the Polderbaan is approaching the glide slope. Let's see if we can capture it. Hey Paula, goedemiddag. Eet smakelijk. You too. Indeed, beautiful clouds. Right, let's see. We should be seeing the arrival of the first airplane approaching the glide slope from the right. Boeing 737-700 from KLM. It is approaching relatively close by. So I'm already checking to see if I can see it anywhere. I think I have it visually. There we go. Yeah. Right, so that is our next airplane. And behind it, Latam Cargo Boeing 767 is also approaching. Can we see it? Or are the clouds? I think the clouds may be obscuring the view. I'm not seeing it visually yet, at least. So in the foreground, KLM flight 1620, Boeing 737-700, arrival from Milan. Current flight time 1 hour and 18 minutes. The airplane age is 14 years. Its first flight was in March 2009. And Eddie Boss has to go work again. Enjoy the rest of your day, mate. Thanks for joining. Right, now in the middle of the field of view we can see the next airplane as well. That should be a Boeing 767 from Latam Cargo arriving from Miami. I'm hearing, but I'm not seeing the diamond. I think it is a diamond little airplane that flight radar shows was passing by. I'm looking around, Sander, but I still haven't seen any fire trucks, unfortunately. So I think what you heard was probably something else. Don't think that there's any activity going on at the fire station as well. Everything looks to be closed. Oh! Another bird formation. Now luckily the bird controller is not far out. It is already on that side, I believe. I think I saw it. Yeah, that is the bird control vehicle. So we might hear some fireworks in a few minutes coming from that side. That would be the bird controller chasing away a few birds. Right, so in the foreground, Latam Cargo flight 1511, Boeing 767-300, arriving from Miami, Florida, 8 hours and 42 minutes of flight time. 767-300 ER, 15 years old, first flight May 2008. A little tippy-toey, but other than that, normal landing. Hey Dave, good afternoon. The bird irritant. This would be KLM flight 755, a 777-200 arriving from Guayaquil. This airplane is underway now for almost 11 hours, 10 hours 58 minutes. It is a 200 ER, 18 years old, first flight January 2005. And Mahat, what time is Turkish 1957 arriving? I intend to stick around at least until the arrival of the Emirates A380, which is expected in 50 minutes from now. And thank you for your kind words, James Lynn. Amazing quality, the best I've seen on YouTube. Whoa, those are big words. But thank you. WD Computer, goedemiddag. Good to see you again, mate. Hope you're doing well. You too. I'm not saying birth control. I do say birth control normally. I do say it intentionally sometimes to confuse the people, but today I've been referring to them as bird controllers, Paula. But yeah, it has been a running gag to call them birth controllers as well. Making sure no unwanted births take place. But today I've been referring to them as bird controller, although I might have to put more stress on the D. The letter D, before some of you start thinking of other things. Mahat, what time is the Turkish flight 1957 coming in? When is it expected to arrive? Is it before the A380 or just a few minutes behind it? After it? Anyway, Embraer 190 from KLM, flown by German Airways. You can already see the chocolate cake, the Livery chocolaterie special livery. This one is coming in from Stuttgart. Okay, well, in that case, I am probably going to see your uncle arrive, Mahat. Don't worry about it. Unless they open up runway 27, and that is not unlikely. I think any airplane from Turkish arrival from Turkey will probably land on runway 27 if that is open at the time. So it will also depend on the runway usage at the time. But if he is landing over here, I will be around to film it. Two big birds coming in. The first one being Icelandair flight 500. And that is a Boeing 767-300 today, arriving from Reykjavik. Two hours and 38 minutes now, touching down. Quite smoothly, actually. Now, these are not the youngest airplanes in existence. Definitely not the oldest either, but This particular airplane, 25 years old, first flight of this airplane was in October 1997. And we are going to see a butt shot from this 767 because it is vacating via the first exit. And we are standing in line with that. Spoilers down. Will we also be seeing the flaps go up? There they go, spoilers retracting. And Mr. Clive Lupo says that they have opened the center runway. That is not good news. Although the silver lining is that if it is parallel arrivals, then at least we will get to see the special livery A380. If not from up close, then at least from relatively close by. Landings on center with my camera are quite easily visible. I have decent zoom on my camera, luckily. This is a Boeing 777 arriving from Lima in Peru. Indeed, Jim, nice crosswind landings. Even though the wind is not as hard as yesterday, the angle is less in line with the runway heading, so more crosswind for the given speed of the wind. Now, I still see plenty of traffic that looks to be coming to this runway. Two airplanes already visible. In the foreground, an A320 from EasyJet arriving from Edinburgh. Not far behind it is a 777 from Emirates Sky Cargo arriving from Dubai. I'm not seeing a third airplane just yet. And Sueli Terezinha, bom dia, checking in from Brazil. People tuning in from across the world, nice of you to say hi, welcome, and I hope you're enjoying the content. All other viewers who have joined us in the meantime, welcome as well. You're watching AMS live with me, Boy. We're standing next to the Polderbaan, as we did yesterday, for another day of crosswind landings. Prevailing wind is blowing from the southwest. These airplanes are landing to the south, so there's crosswind from the right for the pilots landing. Right now, the landing traffic is still coming to this runway, although it was mentioned that the other runway 18 center, was also open. I'm not seeing any traffic going to it just yet. For now, it is still going to this runway. You can see it is cloudy, typical Dutch skies, beautiful cloud formations, with sun peeking through here and there. Also some rain showers further. This is looking to the southeast, more land inward. There are showers forming, you can see it in the distance. A nice contrast sky. Over here it is beautiful weather. We have had a few droplets. This is the direction the wind is coming from, so no rain in the upcoming hour or so, hopefully. At least the upcoming minutes, but the wind is blowing fast, so things can change rather quickly. So this is the Emirates Sky Cargo flight 9989 arriving from Dubai. This airplane is underway for 6 hours and 37 minutes. It is a 777 freighter. 9 years old. Bit wobbly. JWB asks if there have been any go-arounds already. Unfortunately today we haven't seen any. So yesterday we did see 2 go-arounds and 1 near go-around. That was very spectacular to see. That near go-around, if you missed it, do check back yesterday's stream. It is highlighted and time-stamped, so you can go look at it directly when you click on the video and go to the highlights. Today, unfortunately, no go-arounds yet. And another 777 is arriving. This is KLM flight 622. And she is arriving from Atlanta, Georgia. It is a 777-300ER. Current flight time 7 hours and 30 minutes. This airplane is 7 years old and its first flight was in February of the year 2016. And Kuni is back. Good to see you again, Kuni. Wind still crosswindy over here, as you guys can see. For a moment it looked like it was slowing down a little, but judging on what I am feeling right now, it seems like it is picking up again. Found a windsock and it is quite erect. We've been using the proxy windsock of the chimney smoke in the Westport Amsterdam area, which you can see is blowing not only away from us but also blowing away from the chimney almost horizontally. And Matthias asks if there are any wheelie records today. In fact, the 2 longest we've seen, I think both were from KLM Embraers. Quite surprising actually. First of all, to see relatively long wheelies under these weather conditions, but also that both of them, the longest, have been established by KLM Embraers and not by heavies. Was quite surprising. And Mats, it is definitely more windy in Amsterdam than the time of year would normally see. These are more fall-like conditions and it should be summer over here as well. Not as windy as we've seen over the past 2 days. But then again, I think this also holds true for the United Kingdom. There was an intense low pressure area causing a lot of wind both in the UK and over here in Western mainland Europe. Right, once again 3 airplanes visible. In the foreground, A320neo by Sky Express, flight 1500, coming from Rhodos in Greece, 3 hours and 40 minutes of flight time. The airplane is 2 years old, first flight April 2021. Behind it is a Vueling A320 arriving from Alicante, flight 1377, 2 hours 12 minutes of flight time, and that is an 11-year-old airplane, first flight September 2011, so that is the number 2. And Steve, absolutely this runway is also used for departures if the wind is allowing it. In fact, I have streamed from the other side of the runway very often, standing in line with the taxiway that leads from the main platform area to the runway area, so that you can see the airplanes arrive head on. So this runway, the Polderbaan, is used, it's one of the 2 preferential runways of Schiphol Airport together with the Kaagbaan. So Polderbaan is runway 18 right, 36 left, and the Kaagbaan is runway 0624. Those are the 2 preferential runways of Schiphol Airport. That means that weather permitting, and particularly wind permitting, if possible, these 2 are always being used. So today this is the primary runway for arrivals. Secondary, if traffic gets busy, is runway 27. Kaagbaan used for departures primarily today as runway 24. If it gets busy, secondary runway to be used is runway 18 left. So throughout the day, both this runway and the Kaagbaan are in use the entire day, and only if the weather is extreme will they close one of the runways or both. Ooh, tippy-toey. Tippy-toey. Was more unstable than I would have thought it would be. Still, solid landing, and that's the end. It's the end result that matters. Hey Goosey, good morning. Good to see you again. More airplanes in the distance coming this way. In the foreground, KLM flight 1700 arriving from Madrid in Spain. Flight time 1 hour and 53 minutes. It is a 15-year-old airplane that had its first flight in May of the year 2008. After that we are going to see a Delta A330 arriving from Seattle. But first, the 737. Westwood asks, what is my personal favorite aircraft? Well, the all-time classic is of course the Boeing 747-400, the queen of the skies. More modern airplanes, passenger airplanes, I would say that the A350 and the A220 are both my favorite airplanes because of the aesthetics and the engine sounds. And if including fighter jets, I would have to say that the F-14 Tomcat is one of my all-time favorite fighter jets. Being an 80s kid growing up with Top Gun, what other airplane type would there be? That is your personal favorite. So this is Delta Airlines flight 144 arriving from Seattle, Washington State. A330-300, current flight time 9 hours and 3 minutes. It is 15 years old already. Its first flight was in August of the year 2007. Well, last couple of landings either have been a bit tippy-toey, or here it looked like it was like it initially was perhaps flaring a bit too soon. Wind conditions are definitely still a factor. Now the Delta at least gave us some nice reverse thrust rumble. And looking towards the main platform area, this is looking to the southeast. Looks like there's definitely some some shower formation going on. This is the direction the wind is blowing in, so I'm still good over here. And hopefully I will be that until the arrival of the A380, which hopefully we will get to see up close. Although I wouldn't count on it, truth be told, but it's always nice to have a little bit of hope. Beautiful Dutch sky, beautiful cloud formations everywhere. Right. The Boeing 757 is also a very pretty airplane. We sometimes still see it over here at Schiphol because Icelandair still has a few, and they sometimes fly the 757 to Amsterdam. Recently even a special livery 100 years independence livery. Now I really need to lock the camera, otherwise it is too shaky, even with image stabilizer having been enabled. And thank you so much Westwood for your super chat, saying thanks for providing information while streaming. I'm doing the best I can to give you all the information I have, particularly information about the airplanes. I always like seeing compilation videos where they also show the airplane age. So having a silver subscription with Flight Radar allows me to tell you that information, which I think has added value to your experience watching this. This is lot flight 263, Embraer 190 arriving from Warsaw. A 14-year-old airplane. And I can already see something in the distance coming this way. That would be an Embraer A2 Embraer 195, KLM flight 1186, arriving from Bergen. Current flight time 1 hour and 24 minutes. This airplane is a year old. First flight was in February of the year 2022. First time you see Polish Airlines, really, Aphrodite? Surely it cannot be. I think we've featured them in almost every stream. Not as regular as the KLM Embraers, but or the chocolate Lycifer chocolate Embraer 190. And indeed, Jeremy, this is an E2. You can already tell by the big engines relative to the fuselage diameter. It is an E2. So an E2 not being grounded is already a sight to see, a rarity. Because it is exactly because of this reason that the chocolate Lycifer Embraer from German Airways and the other German Airways airplanes are now being rented by KLM, just because of, in part, the E2 fleet not being able to fly at full capacity already because of engine problems. Okay, well, there's a first time for everything then, Alfredita. Today was the first of many, hopefully more to come. Marcel is informing us that the A380 is 27 minutes out right now, so thank you for that update. Now looking at flight radar, I don't see any traffic to 27 or to 18 center. So in practice it seems that every inbound plane is still going to the Polderbaan. In the distance we can already see the next one going to the glide slope. Also nice to see. Nart is informing us that the first plane was sent to runway 27 EasyJet from Dubrovnik. Okay, so that does not bode well. Okay, well, there are a couple of airplanes arriving from the east right now. And the A380 can land on runway 27 perfectly. So that is not a reason not to be landing on it. Ton says I still have 15 minutes to get to runway 27 and to see it land on Polder. Yeah, indeed, I'm going to stay put and just see what will happen. Although I think we are going to know the outcome. Now, Norwegian in the Camilla Collett livery, landing, arriving from Oslo. Dita says there's an A330 Malaysian cargo and an A330 Turkish airline coming. Yeah, in fact that A330 from Turkish carries the uncle of one of our viewers. This would be Corendon Airlines Flight 120, Boeing 737-800, arrival from Palma de Mallorca after 2 hours and 4 minutes of flight time. An 11-year-old airplane that had its first flight in November 2011. Oh yeah, you can watch the runway. You can see what runway airplanes are assigned to if you go to Omgevingsinfo Schiphol. There it says which runway the landing airplanes are going to land at. Now we can already see the airplanes arriving from the east being directed to runway 27. No need to figure out what is going to happen. I think both A330s, well, the first one is already on its path to runway 27. Looks like the Turkish will do the same, originating from the east. And the A380 is now in Dutch airspace, but it doesn't bode well. I think we're only going to see it from afar. No, Matthias, I'm not live every day this week. Unfortunately, I still have a day job that I need to spend time on, and that is on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Now, if the weather is good, I will be going out again on Thursday. K2 speeding along really fast. Meanwhile, Aer Lingus Shamrock Flight 604 arriving from Dublin. Now touching down, A320, an hour and 2 minutes of flight time. She's 12 years old, first flight May 2011. Hey Gurgenhobel, guten Tag, schön, dass du auch wieder dabei bist. And Paul, good afternoon. Peter already saying A380 going to the runway 27, Buitenvelderbaan. So we are not going to see that, unfortunately. the same goes for those 777 A330s, the Musk Cargo and the Turkish. Right now no traffic is coming to the polderbound, so let me show you what you can see from over here, and it is not a lot. That looked like, was it an EasyJet or is it a Transavia? No, that was an EasyJet arriving from Dubrovnik. Trying to see where the next airplane should be, but I have to trace it back, I think. So we did briefly see the EasyJet. The next airplane would be a Transavia 737. The story is that there isn't a lot to see from over here. I think clouds might also play a factor right now. No, wait, I do see one, an airplane. Where was it? I did see it just now. Oh yeah. Yeah, there you go. That's the Transavia 737. So, really not a lot to see from over here. Now the next airplane to arrive over here is an Embraer 190 arriving from Stavanger. There's also a Vueling A320neo. They're both flying base and still turning final. Let me see if I can show you a bit more of what you can see landing on runway 27. So that Musk Cargo A330 should be next. I think it is still being obscured by clouds. Practicing for what we're going to see of the Emirates A380. Because I am assuming that this is what we will be seeing of it once it gets closer by. Now, oh, there it is. Okay, so I know now where I need to look. That was way more to the left and higher than I was looking. Okay, so that is the direction, okay, between the bushes, the trees. That is where we need to look for the A380 probably. Now the A380 is still a bit further out, so let's focus on the traffic coming over here. pain in the you-know-what to see them right now with the current lighting conditions. There we go, that is one, and I thought I saw the second one as well. Or is this the second one already? No, this is still the first one. Where is it, the second one? No. Oh yeah. I have to look at my laptop screen to see what you guys are seeing, and now I see the second airplane much better. So, in the foreground is an Embraer 190 from KLM, arriving from Stavanger. KLM flight 1200. Flight time 1 hour and 7 minutes. It is 11 years old. First flight was in January 2012. Behind it is a Vueling A320neo flight 8353 arriving from Valencia. We'll see that in a minute. Airplane visible behind the Vueling A320. That would be the Dreamliner from Aeromexico, flight 25, standard livery. Boeing 787-8 Dreamliner arriving after having flown now for 9 hours and 57 minutes. The airplane is 8 years old, first flight January 2015. Now, moment of truth. The A380 is in the vicinity of Lelystad, so if it is going to follow the same route as the other airplanes, we'll know that it is going to runway 27. If it is going to fly more to the west, we'll know that we are going to be lucky and see it up close on this runway. So in a few minutes, we'll know with certainty where to look for the A380 when it gets close by. A local rain shower in Katwijk is Sander saying. I'm also seeing that the weather coming this way looks a bit iffy, but we'll see. I have umbrellas with me. What rain is falling is only temporary. That is the upshot of today's weather. Right, Aeromexico flight 27, Boeing 787-8 Dreamliner. Now 9 hours and 59 minutes underway, soon to touch down. 8-year-old airplane, first flight January 2015. right. Be sure to say turns for 27, the A380. That sure doesn't look like it is coming this way, so we'll have to keep an eye out for it. Right now there is still inbound traffic for the Polderbaan. The next airplane to arrive looks like Air France flight 1640, A320 arriving from Paris Charles de Gaulle. 44 minutes of flight time right now. The airplane 14 years old, first flight March 2009. And another A320 following it from flight to sky. I think flying for Royal Air Maroc. Arriving from Nador. All white, wedding dress livery. Alright, Kalitta 747 now taking off runway 24. I think it has already climbed a bit. There it goes. Now, where is that A380? That is still in the vicinity of Almere, okay. So this fly to sky all white livery A320 is arriving from Nador in Morocco. Current flight time of this airplane 2 hours 32 minutes. It is an A320-200 that is 16 years old. First flight was in February 2007. Ladies and gentlemen, the A380 is definitely going to go to runway 27. It is now in the vicinity of Muiden, which should make it become visible for us in a moment. So I'm going to keep my eyes out for the A380, which I think will appear somewhere over here. So, unfortunately, not a close-up arrival of a very special livery. Second time I've seen it from a distance, this livery. Was really looking forward to seeing it up close. Really had hoped that at least they would have gone and do parallel arrivals, so that worst case it would land on 18C. That way it would still be visible for us. Okay, so it is now flying over Muiden, going towards Amsterdam. Really looking closely to see if I can see anything. Also, the wind seems to be picking up over here. The current wind is coming from over there, and I think I'm lucky that the shower will pass south of me. But also something to keep in mind. I think I see something, and I think it might be the A380. I think it is. I think that is our A380, ladies and gentlemen. Number 9, most followed worldwide on flight radar right now. The Emirates Rugby World Cup France special livery, Emirates flight 147. Daily flight arrival from Dubai, A380-800, 6 hours and 34 minutes of flight time right now. It is an 8-year-old airplane that had its first flight in July 2014. Yeah, I think this is now 10 miles, 15 kilometers away. So a bit like contrail spotting. Now the upshot is, it is flying towards us, so it will be getting a bit bigger. Also the contrast isn't helping, the dark background. It's probably flying in the shade right now, not being illuminated by the sun. Or only a little bit. That was it, the A380. I see that there is a Delta Airline A330 coming this way. After that I am going to wrap it up, call it a day. I am looking to go out again on Thursday, weather permitting. This is Delta Airlines flight 162. Airbus A330-300 arriving from Minneapolis, flight time 7 hours 20 minutes. It is a 19-year-old airplane. First flight was in August 2003. Hey Mabube, good day to you. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for watching. Once again, it's been a beautiful start of the week. Not the ending I would have wanted it to be, but still it was a nice show with lots of crabbing. No go-arounds though. We did have yesterday a few go-arounds. If you missed it, do look back the highlights of yesterday's stream. It was a tremendous stream. For now I'm going to say goodbye. Thanks to all who have joined. If you like what you saw, consider subscribing if you haven't done that already. I'm looking to go out again later in the week on Thursday, weather permitting. Hope to see you then. If not, maybe we'll see each other another time. For now I'm going to say goodbye. Thanks to all the people who were so kind to donate super chats, super stickers or memberships. Take care, enjoy the rest of your week. Hope to see you all soon, and bye for now.